10 Commitments of Leadership, Leadership Coaching, Becoming an Effective and Dynamic Leader. Leadership tip number 1. Have a growth mindset. Leaders are readers. Leaders look for mentors and coaches. Invest in yourself. Have a growth mindset. As a leader in any organization or group, you must have a good attitude and believe that people have the ability to develop their talents, abilities, and intelligence. You are looking for a more productive way to approach your group. Leaders with a growth mindset desire to be significant because they want the growth that they create to take the organization to places it has never been before. They want growth to help their organizations evolve. Leaders are readers because they are seeking knowledge to improve their organization. They are looking for mentors and coaches that will help them to become an effective leader. They invest in training, seminars, and workshops to gain learning. It basically means that you believe success comes from the consistent effort of working through challenges. Leaders with a growth mindset tend to focus more on the process rather than just an outcome. Leadership tip number 2. Be a contribution. Look for ways to serve others and add value. Look for better solutions in every problem. Remarkable leaders think about their contribution and how their leadership is making a difference to people, products, processes, customers, and community, and so on. Such questions help us be more cognizant of how our actions have contributed and how they could benefit others in the future. Leadership tip number 3. Set boundaries. Part of being a leader is knowing when to politely but firmly say no. You can't be all things to everyone, and that's okay. What do boundaries for leaders look like at work? They are made of two essential things: what you create and what you allow. A boundary is a property line. It defines where your property begins and ends. As a leader in the workplace, you are in charge of the vision, the people you invite, what the goals and purposes are going to be, what behavior is going to be allowed, and what isn't. Leaders build and allow the culture. You set the boundary and you set the agenda and you make the rules, and what you find there your own way. It is your creation or your allowances that made it be. Simply stated, the leader's boundaries define and shape what is going to be and what isn't. In the end, as a leader, you are always going to get a combination of two things: what you create and what you allow. Leaders define the boundaries, and successful leaders define them well in several key areas: the vision, the focus, the attention, and the activities that create forward movement are defined by leaders. The emotional climate of the organization and its culture is created and sustained by leaders. The unity and connectedness of the organization and the teams are built or fragmented by leaders. The thinking and beliefs of the organization are sown and grown by leaders. The amount and kinds of control and empowerment that people have are given and required by leaders. The performance and development of their teams and direct reports are stewarded by leaders. The leadership of oneself, which entails establishing one's own boundaries and stewardship of the organization, is required by leaders. By applying essential boundaries for leaders, we make sure certain things happen, prevent other things from happening, and keep it all moving forward. Leaders are a positive force for good and a negative force against bad. You know what they are, and you know what they are doing and what they are against. Leadership tip number 4: be true to yourself. By being your authentic self, you'll experience and inspire others to play big too. Everyone wins. To be an authentic leader, first be true to yourself. Authentic leaders are the most influential and find their role near effortless. By the dictionary, authentic means not a fake and genuine, and this is the best way to understand authentic leadership. Authentic leaders do not fake their leadership. They do not pretend to be leaders just because they occupy a position that requires them to lead. They lead in a genuine self-expressed way. They are being themselves and not trying to conform to others' expectations. First and foremost, they are being true to themselves. They lead from conviction, not for status or honor or monetary reward. Their behavior is deeply rooted in their values, so they are motivated to succeed by a particular cause or mission. Authentic leaders strive to self-actualize and to make a difference in their organization, family, or community. Thus, they are found in all walks of life. Leadership tip number 5: take action. During difficult or challenging times, learning to assess situations, act decisively, and find ways to reassure your team of their capabilities. Deciding when to take action is a basic leadership choice. You can lead your people into action quickly or let the energy build while they prepare for what must be done. Both approaches are appropriate at times. Leadership tip number 6: be humble. Share the credit for successful projects with your team. If you make a mistake, admit it, and if you don't, have a solution to problem. Be willing to ask others for guidance. A humble leader is someone who knows their strengths and weaknesses and acknowledges them both with humility and humbleness. You can solve a problem unless you understand it fully. This includes your own issues. Leadership tip number 7: listen more. Always listen to other people. Always listen to your team, what they have to say. Plus, always be mindful of what you will say to your team. When leaders practice effective listening, they listen more than they talk. They do not only bring their ears to the conversation, but observe with their eyes as well. They commit to being mentally and physically present. They keep their judgments aside and make the other person feel comfortable by using positive body language and engage wholeheartedly in the conversation. Leadership tip number 8: communicate. Make sure that you are communicating effectively to your team. Make your expectations and feelings clear. Make decisions effectively and be firm on them once they have been made. Communicate on a daily basis. You know that good communication is a core leadership function and a key characteristic of a good leader. Effective communication and effective leadership are closely intertwined. As a leader, you need to be a skilled communicator in any countless activities or relationships at the organizational level, in communities and groups, and sometimes on a global scale. Leadership tip number 9: Reward. Be active in acknowledging hard work and efforts, no matter the result. Reward creatively and recognize that it helps your team develop their full potential. Reward power plays an important role in an effective leadership. A leader, a manager, is the one who not only influences his subordinates on the basis of his good qualities or referent power or expert power, but also grants them rewards based on his reward and reward power. Even if a reward is as simple as a word of praise, it's a reward after all. Leadership tip number 10: Challenge. Your team may become bored if they perform the same task every day. Give them new projects that are within their abilities and encourage creativity. There are several external challenges as well in leadership: lack of projects, scarcity of funds, and lack of support from clients are some of the external challenges faced by a leader. Your subordinates will come to you for work, and it is your duty to delegate this kind of responsibility. Once you delegate this kind of responsibilities, you are challenged to go beyond this experience. Your team may become bored if they perform some tasks that are routinary. That's why make it happen to make them challenge every day. And the bonus leadership tip number 11 is empower. Empower through delegation. We become more powerful when we empower others. Great leaders unleash the leader within each person, liberating them to use their own power. Everyone wants to feel like they are contributing to the vision that you are preparing. You can empower others by acknowledging their strengths and potential contributions. Let us take a look about what Bill Gates say about this leadership. It's fine to celebrate success, but it is more empowered to heed the lessons of failure. Let us take a look about what it is to become a leader who is looking ahead into the next century, and what is leaders that will empower others. According to Gallup study, when an organization focuses on individual strengths, employee engagement increases from 9% to 73%. Now, that's powerful. Not only will empowering your employees improve their confidence, it will increase your confidence within you. When your team is empowered to leverage their strengths, there are some required less oversight from you. In other words, you empower them and increase your own effectiveness in the process. You can depend on them to get the job done and get it done well. Then you can spend your time leading the organization and achieving that kind of vision. And you know that you already empowered all your employees and your team. It's fine to celebrate success, but it is more important to heed the lessons of failures. I agree with that statement according to Bill Gates. When we fail, we learn things such as what don't work, possible mistakes, real risks, and others. We learn those that cannot be learned so clearly in other situations. This ability to see things more clearly is relevant for success. When faced with failure, one should always adopt a positive mindset or positive attitude. You will not learn anything from trying to find a crop or culprit to your job or to other people. By being in denial about the reasons for the failure and consequences that it will have, or by believing that the situations will get better on its own. To learn from one's mistakes, it is important to be perfectly transparent and to analyze the origin of the mistake in all humility. Leading a team is no easy task. Just look at some of the most inspiring leaders like Ariana Huffington or Rosalind Brewer. Despite the hard work, there's something so inspiring about a leader that empowers their team. So if you're looking to expand your leadership style and skills, you're in a luck. So by demonstrating these important leadership qualities, you too are becoming an effective leader that inspires change. So good leaders are self-aware, communicate effectively, delegate work, encourage strategic thinking, and motivate them or the team itself to do their very best in order for them to have a successful event or successful project. Remember that leadership is about empathy. It's about having the ability to relate and connect with people for the purpose of inspiring and empowering their lives. This is according to Oprah Winfrey. Thank you so much for listening.